Hello, my name is Ponderance, and in this video I'm going to be looking for people who are camping. Now, the reason I do that, and the reason I'm making this video so other people can see how I personally look, is because if you're going into Storm Peaks and you just aim at a spawn spot and go and sit there, it's probably not going to help you as much as it could. Now, I'm not even going to start until I'm done explaining why I'm going to do this, because I will get distracted 1,000 times, I'm sure, as with the cross-server realm crap. It's insane. It may not be when I go through since I said that, but it's been crazy. Like, 3 people on spawn spots, sometimes all 4 spawn spots sometimes. And, I mean, dozens of people through the path, and, 5 or 10 people sitting here in this general area, and like 16 people flying the path. It's just insane. So what you're going to want to do is try to find a spawn spot, number 1, that's not camped. If all 4 spawn spots are camped, you might as well just say fuck it and leave and come back sometime and find one that's not. And hopefully no one stacks on you and shows you the same respect. Which is, slowly fading, it seems like, with this cross-server stuff going on. But, so you're going to want to find a spawn spot that's not camped, first of all. And then before you pick one that's not camped, don't just see one and plop down. First, look everywhere and try to find a spawn spot that's not camped and has, like, say, waterfall. If waterfall's not camped and you don't see anybody camping or doing anything really between there and where Brunhildar spawns and travels through, that's ideal. And if nobody's camping anywhere that you can see, Frozen Lake would be ideal, because if nobody's out there that you can tell, and it changes all the time, but you're going to want to get an initial feeling for where everybody is so you can pick where to go. But if nobody's out there, then, Frozen Lake, sure, because Waterfall and Aldor might get there, and that's cool. But, if, say, Frozen Lake's empty, and there's a fuckload of people all over the place on the river and on the lake, especially in Valkyron and all that shit, Frozen Lake is nice and all, but if Waterfall's open and the path to it is open, that's a better bet. Even with all those people there, and Frozen Lake isn't any more popular as a spawn spot for time loss than anywhere else. It's pretty much even all over. I've seen dozens and dozens of time loss spawns, so I can assure you there's not a hot spot. I wish there was. That's why I've spent so much time looking. I want to find a hot spot or a timer, anything, to save people time, save me time before, account-wide mounts. But, no such luck. So, since I have my stone set to Dow, I usually enter this way, and I can already see 2 people at Frozen Lake there. Still baffles me. I mean, in my original video I said I would never camp there. I haven't camped there since I knew what I was doing. 3. Oh, that Pally's been out there a little while today. They've been talking in general too. Now, a lot of hunters I've noticed that have Skull will still sit there and pretend like they're camping Skull and talk like they're camping Skull, but be after time loss. Sometimes they get lucky, and good for them. This person is camping properly. They're in party, but I knew they were there. I'm actually a little surprised they're not being stacked on. But, yeah. I always check, I kind of try and backtrack and try and see as much of the route as I can. People still camp all over the routes and fly the routes and camp on the sides of the ravine here. I see them all over the ravine. I'm still not exactly sure why. I mean, I read Wowhead and I see what's posted there, and I see the people like, oh yeah, that worked for me, hell yeah, and then everyone else sees that and like, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna do that too. Electrocuting yourself with bleach is awesome. Electricity, obviously. Throw a toaster in the bathtub, that's awesome. Time loss will spawn immediately, every time. And the more, actually, if you get 6 toasters and fill up the bathtub till it's overflowing, and then drop them in with a couple hair dryers that are active, hell yeah, fucking time loss there'll be 2 time loss actually. So do that. Storm Peaks is actually a little more dead than I thought. Don't fucking do that. Don't kill yourself. Time loss might spawn for you in the afterlife, but that's not gonna fucking do any good. Show your buddies, hey guys, look, I'm a ghost, but I got time lost. What's up? Oh fuck, that mage still down there. I fly really high because Kind of, well, on this server I can't, people see me in the /who, but most servers, I'm on tunes that people don't know the names of. And, yeah, that poor mage is getting stacked on by some fuck-ass warrior. The mage has been there a while. The warlock that's in group with me has been camping for a month, pretty, like, 18 hours a day. Which I know, I always say, you know, if you're gonna go at it, fucking, you know, rape everything in the world and go for a good 24 hours a day until you get it. But I know it's not, you know, if you want to be like, hey Blizzard, I don't give a fuck about your disconnection shit, and like use countermeasures to stop it, you know, it's always a risk. Well, I don't think it's a risk at all, but I mean, people worry about it, and I respect that, and they'd rather do it, quote, legit, unquote, I pay for my time, you know, fuck you, disconnect yourself. Sorry Blizzard, I love you, obviously. But I mean, really, the disconnect thing really bothers me. It annoys me, so I don't really respect that. But first thing I do is pretty much fly the routes and look for who's on that and try and take a mental note of who's flying around. So when I see them third, fourth, fifth time on the route, I got a decent idea that they're going after time loss by the, hey, I'm going to fly the route, you know, for the thing that has 4 routes and can stagger forever. That's one of my tunes. Oh, and they're being stacked on by little diddly bob. Fucking A. And that's one I said hi to, and they just didn't bother to fucking say shit back, so good for them. That's actually, if you're gonna come out here and all 4 spawn spots are actually camps, and you're gonna stack, because, you know, who the fuck knows when you're gonna see an uncamped spawn spot while this cross-server shit's going on. So, I mean, if you're gonna camp, that's a smart way to do it. Just sit there and, you know, I don't really exist, and, you know, I'm gonna make you doubt that I exist. You know, they're sitting there and I can whisper them, but maybe I'm imagining shit 'cause I've been camping for 10 years. But, yeah, it's a pretty smart way to play it. It's just not fucking say a word when someone talks to you. So I can respect that person for that, because I'm sure that's what they think too, which is right. I'm noticing a lack of people. I should have made this video about 2 hours ago when I first got home, because Jesus, it was Grand Central Station in your mother's face all over the place. I've seen people sitting on this ledge a lot lately. Speaking of edges of ravines and shit, that's been a popular spot. And I'm sure there's plenty of videos saying, hey dude, this is the place I sit all the time, and I've got 6 of them. Which is fine. Some people it works, that's great. But on servers like Area 52, when everybody's been extensively trained by some dick warlock, I mean, and you come out here and all the spawn spots are always camped, then what works on, you know, Joe Empty server doesn't work on servers where people know what they're doing. Which is life. That's life. Now for everyone's favorite spawn spot. It's not a spawn spot. Engine of the Makers is not a spawn spot. Even though I just talked to someone today that swore it was, and was like, well, that's great. Yep, that's awesome right there. There's always one, especially with the cross server. I've never come out here since they did that and, you know, not seen someone camping. It's just how it is. Fucking hell. That's alright though. Well, Jesus. So, yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of people that still think Durkee and Skull are directly connected. Like if one's up, they won't spawn. But if you look on the site, I'm pretty sure, I know I have one up with Durkee with Vargos in the background. I know on the forum someone posted one with Skull and Vargos in the same screenshot. At the same time, obviously not. It wasn't photoshopped. So I don't know. There's so much evidence out there now. I don't understand why people think some of this shit. I mean, I understand because people don't like to fucking read, so they'll go to Wowhead and skim it and be like, oh fuck yeah, I know everything. And it's fucked. Or my friend, you know, was taking a shit and came to a screen and saw it spawn right in front of him, you know, wherever the fuck, anywhere on the path. Because people don't seem to understand that spawning and flying into view are 2 totally different things. And I mean, I've got a video called the Wrath of Time Lost or something with the music from the Wrath of Khan and Time Lost flying around. And if you pay attention, I kind of did it on purpose. Jesus Christ. That poor guy. I was talking to him in general earlier. Part of the reason I had that video recorded how it was with the time loss coming into view over and over and over through the whole video was to try and illustrate, hey, this isn't him spawning, it's just flying into being able to see him, flying into view. And this just seems to be a concept lost. Like, well, if it was spawned, I could target it and see it no matter where it was. Well, that's not real. That's not how it works. Just like any of these fucking things on the ground down here. Look, I have it targeted. So it's obviously spawned. Well, I'm gonna fly over here, and it must not be there anymore. It's just gone. So I'm gonna make it spawn by flying over here. And, oh, look, it spawned right there. No, that's not how it works. And people think that time loss spawned because, well, it's sitting right here, and it spawned over Valkyrion. Well, it didn't. It came from, you know, Alduar and flew there, and then came into view. So if you didn't really think of it that way, now you can think of it that way. So it seems the composition of campers sitting in weird places. Oh, I was just talking to that person in whispers. Didn't realize that's where they were camping. That's alright. So, yep. Actually, this is a pretty accurate video for how I actually come out here and look for people, because I do end up backtracking all over the place and seeing some people here and there that I recognize and thinking, well, fuck, and then thinking about how I talk to them, and then I fly off in the other direction and shit. But I mean, if you've read Wowhead and you've flown around and see where people sit, and if you know the actual spawn spots, you know, probably there's another video that's going to be made. If you can see my original one, but there's going to be a more specific one just for the spawn spots, because since I made that last video, some patches have made it so the exact areas in the spawn spots, it's not quite such a wide range it can spawn at. Like in Frozen Lake, it would kind of spawn from the divot all the way over to wherever that herb is, kind of at a random position throughout there. But and also the paths used to be a little bit more random. I mean, it would be the same general path, but the little deviations here and there would fly a little bit more to the left here, or it wouldn't go the same path here. It would kind of cut across here and shit like that I'd see, but I haven't seen any of that in a long time. It's been exactly the same path every time. So I'll have to make a video elaborating more on how the spawns are right now. And if you guys haven't heard, 6-hour minimum spawn window's long gone. It was 45 minutes in Cataclysm. So that's my pally, one of them, and this dude that was stacking for quite a while. That's alright though. Like I said, you know, what are you gonna do when you have 500 people in a fucking zone? And me, I like fucking telling people information and shit, and then they're like, oh, well, there's spawn spots, let me go look, and I go, oh, they're all camped, and they just say, oh, fuck it, and leave. And, you know, that's great, but, you know, once in a while I'll do that, and they'll be like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm gonna camp right here, fuck your face, I'm gonna get 20 friends. So, you know, but it's gamble's a gamble's a gamble. So it kind of sucks. It all sucks, really. Unless you have 4 accounts, you know, you just sit on all 4 and hope to fuck it spawns either where you're the account that you want it on, hope it spawns there, or, you know, conversely hope that it spawns somewhere where no one is and you can hold it and then fly your shit over. So, but as far as all the mechanics of camping in a party and all that, I'm going to save that for another video. So, this is actually, if you've seen this video and not really been in Storm Peaks for a while with the cross-server stuff, and you think this looks super packed and there's a million campers, this is actually pretty dead. I mean, sure, there's been a bunch of people flying around, but so, I'm a little surprised. I still check this 4-path. I call this the old 4-path. I know it's still on the site at the moment I recorded this video, and it probably will be for a long time, but That 4-path is old as shit. And if someone's gonna camp a 4-path, not that any server's ever gonna be dead again. But, oh, they moved. Good for them. If you sit... Let me get right in this little hole here. If you sit... My mini-map right here. If you sit pretty much right... Let's see. I've done this a few times and it works. But I usually face here because, fuck it, you know, that one flies away super fast. I mean, they all fly... Time loss flies pretty fast, no matter what. So I like watching that one because this is a more highly populated camp area there around the Frozen Lake and Valkyrie and all that. So right here you can see Frozen Lake spawn. Waterfall doesn't take long at all to come into view. Aldoar, of course, has a huge gauntlet to even get to you, but Brunhildar there, when he comes around the corner here in front of that cave, comes into view. The path, anyways. So this is the new 4-path. Found actually by someone on the forums. I really wish I could say your name and remember who it was, but my memory is shit, and I talk to a million people a day in my head, but really my memory is just really bad. So I apologize for not remembering who did it, but it did come from the forums. And I tested it. I'm like, no, that fucking work, really? It sure as fuck does. So bravo, dude. So, yep, big old titties and shit. Fucking awesome. Not exactly the way I wanted the video to end, but it's fucking snowing. Can't really beat that, right? Weather in Storm Peaks finally. So, yep. Rambling session for this video is over.